Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today I kind of want to talk about the Panthers season so far, and I've kind of procrastinated this video a little bit, mainly because if you remember my last Panthers video, I talked about the quarter season review, and I was going to talk about halfway through the season, and then we get to halfway through the season, and I still don't know what to make of my Panthers team. I was like, I don't really know what we're doing, and then as weeks go by and by and by, and I'm like, I literally have no idea. It depends. So after having a week long of a bye going into week 15, 16, 17, 18, I feel like I want to make the video now before we get into the basically the crux of the season and see what can we possibly make of this. So that's why we'll make this video now, on the eve of the Buccaneers versus Falcons game, which I'm sure will be fascinating as well. Hoping for good things to happen our way, but you know what? It's probably gonna be the Buccaneers win. But unless, anyways, going back to the Panther season. So where we left off was talking about the upset, not the upset, but the upsetting loss to the Patriots. And as I talked about previously, those first four games, we finish off 1-3. We start the season 0-2. Then we have the shutout win against the Falcons, and then get absolutely boat raced by the Patriots because of a lot of litany of bad things that happened that second half of that second quarter that pretty much just like put the game away. Um, and I still didn't know where we really were. Like obviously, like I said, we were struggling, but we had every single game was something different, and so I didn't really know what to make of this team. And then week five comes around, and we're going against the Dolphins. We go into a hole. It ain't looking good. I can already tell a lot of Panthers fans were already getting like frustrated wanting people gone. But then we go on a run. We come back, and Rico Dowdle, that's his start. If y'all, I know it's been a while, but since y'all started going to Rico Dowdle in the week 5 against the Dolphins, we come back, we win. Both teams are off at this point, so it's like, well, great comeback win. We're back in the winning column, but like I don't know how much is this actually going to help us out? Like it's a win, but it might be like a lost season. We don't really know how the season's going to go. And then the next week, go against the Cowboys. Now, granted, Cowboys again not going to have CD Lamb, but George Pickens went off on our defense. Like had an amazing game, but again, Rico Dowdle, I mean, had an amazing game. Missed the Dolphins, challenged the Cowboys because he knew he was going against the Cowboys. That's where it came from, and had an amazing game as well. We come back, we win that game as well. Another comeback win, another win where technically Bryce Young on the last drive, like I said, moving on down the field, and we win. It's like, okay, well, hold a second. We're 3-3. All right, well, let's see what happens. Hey, it's been a while since we have been like at 500 at that point in the season, which is very, very rough to think about. But it is. It is. We haven't been good in quite some time. And then you have the Jets game, and it's like, okay, Jets are very good. We know that. We barely beat them. We look terrible, and also Bryce Young gets hurt. Crap. So now we're at 4-3. It's a great feeling to be above 500, but at the same exact time, it's like we're about to go into the Buffalo Bills, who at that point in time looked like an amazing team. They still look like a really good team, not gonna lie. But I'm just saying, like at that point in time, they look like an amazing team, and we're looking at like a mid team, and it's like this is going to be bad. Andy Dalton starting, yes, it was very much so. And honestly, like I said, a lot of it set up because of the bad decisions we made. Not putting it totally on one person, but it definitely did help a lot of the turnovers that we had caused by Andy Dalton. And it just was, I think that was like the 40-9 game, I think I remember. Like I said, it was a true mess of a game where I thought about making a video at that point, but I was like, no, I'm going to wait to the Packers game. I said I was going to do that before, so that'll be like week 9, and it'll be fine. So at that point, we were 4-4. We're going to the Packers too, so going to Lambeau. And I didn't have that much faith in the game. I was like, I mean, the last time we went to the Packers was 2020. That was Derek Brown's rookie year, and we almost did upset the Packers. That was Christian McCaffrey had a pretty good game. Teddy Bridgewater was the quarterback, so that Dave said very much. But I was like, maybe we can make it close. I did not think we had any chance to win. And then Rico Dowdle had an outstanding game. Outstanding game where he was able to get yards, able to be like basically carry our whole entire offense. And we win the game on a last second field goal because Ryan Fitzgerald shows out where he's able to, have some clutch kicks. And we're like, all right, well, we actually might have some of this in this undrafted rookie kicker from Florida State. And so we're 5-4. We just beat the number one team in the NFC that no one thought that we could beat. And I was like, thinking I should make the video then. But then I was like, hold a second. If I think we're good, and I do, what is the one thing that we always did whenever we were good? That is, we beat teams we shouldn't, and we would lose to teams we shouldn't. And my theory was proved correct. We lost to the Saints, and I'm trying to think the best way to put this. 17-7, where both touchdowns because J.C. Horn fell down. He had good coverage on both of them, but he fell down, and our offense was turnover prone, and we just sucked it up against the Saints. Again, coming off a huge win against the Packers, losing to the Saints, and I'm like, crap. I was like, I don't know if I want to make a video after this. I mean, this feels awful. And I was like, well, okay, well, I'm going to be going to the Panthers Falcons game, so I'll just make a video after then. And I was like, when I come back home and maybe we get the win. I hope we get the win because I'll be there. And so, like I said, at that point, 5-5. And then Bryce Young, after a lot of Panthers fans calling for him to be, cast aside, and we need to look for quarterbacks in the near future, throws for the franchise record. I mean, to put it honestly, throws for the franchise record. I'm watching, absolutely dotting up at that time. Remember, the Falcons were the number one passing defense. Now, I understand that, the Falcons have definitely been on a downward trajectory, but at the same exact time, they were the number one passing defense, and Bryce Young threw for over 400 yards on them. I couldn't have seen it happen. I thought it was gonna be Rico Dowdle. No, we just threw the air, and it was an amazing game to be there, amazing game to watch. And I'm like, I didn't get home until late, so that's why I didn't make the video. But I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy. And I was like, oh, well, I'll be able to stream the Monday night game where it's the 49ers versus Panthers. I ended up not doing that because I wanted to spend time with family. But I'm really glad I didn't stream that game because I would have been ticked off. The fact that our defense showed up. We got 3 picks in the first half alone, and then we could not capitalize. And it's the same exact thing that I'm concerned about, is that every single time that we have either an amazing win or a win in general, we have been on this pathway where after we've had this win, we have a crushing loss. And after we have a crushing loss, we have an amazing win. And then that's when we go against the Rams. And then we end up beating the number one team in the NFC, and it makes no sense. I still don't really know what is happening with this team. I'm along for the ride, but it still makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? The fact is, like I said, I'm just backtracking again. Start from the Packers game. Beat the number one team. Amazing. Lose to the Saints. How? Beat the Falcons in the Falcons where you're a franchise quarterback, throws for the franchise record. Amazing. Then you suck it up against the 49ers. And then you beat the Rams. Like I said, I can't think of another time where this has been like this up and down week to week to week to week. And so I've been kind of wrestling with this, especially the bye week of what can this team actually do? I can tell you what it can't do. I can tell you what it can do. What it can't do is rush the passer. And I think that's the main reason why a lot of Panthers fans are like, we're along for the ride. At the same time, we know that we're not really going to be able to do that much this year because we just literally can't get to the quarterback. Nick Scorton, who's our rookie, is looking pretty good, but at the same time, it's just really one guy. Outside of him on the edge, we're not really getting that much pressure. And then Derek Brown's been an absolute dog, but that's it. That's pretty much all we really have. And so that's a little frustrating, but it's understandable because we're trying to rebuild our defense. And then the other thing too is we literally cannot have a consistent Bryce Young. And I love Bryce Young. I literally have on his jersey right now. I love Bryce I was very close last year to giving up on him, but I decided, I was like, no. Felt confident when he was coming out of the draft process. I wanted him. I'm glad we got him. I'm going to stick with it for the rest of the year, and I was proven right, but I was very close. And that's the thing is like I just want a consistent Bryce Young, and like we can't have that yet because we haven't been shown that. We have shown amazing highs from Bryce last year, this year. Like there's been some amazing things, and then there's been some all-time lows. You're like, what is he doing? And so it's like it's it's like a love-hate relationship a little bit with Bryce, where like I love him, and a lot of fan in the fan base love him right now because of the Rams game, because of the Falcons game. But sandwiched in between there is the 49ers game where he could not, for the life of him, find a way to capitalize. And some of that is also on Dave Canales, capitalize on those interceptions. And it's very, very concerning. But I can tell you what we can do. And that is, besides the Cowboys game, our quarterbacks have been playing really, really amazingly as the last couple of weeks. I mean, you think about the fact that J.C. Horn's like, I think he's like top in Pro Bowl voting right now. Mike Jackson, like after J.C. Horn was down, he had Mike Jackson come up and he came up big against the Rams. And like said, yeah, he had to be covering against like Puka Nacua, who had like an amazing grab on him. But for the most part, like I said, he still played an amazing game, given a very tough task. And the fact is, it's like he was having to be number one duties instead because J.C. Horn wasn't there. It's like he was still playing well. He had, like I said, he also had a pick in the 49ers game. Same thing that for J.C. Horn having those two. And it's one of those things where you're like, okay, you feel good about the cornerbacks, linebackers. Like I said, it's the depth is very low there. But even we had the depth being low, they played it decent enough. Even if they were just like either practice squad players that we had to elevate or like backups, they're still playing decently enough. And so I'll give credit to Evero because, like I said, a lot of people were upset that we didn't fire Evero last year. I give him the benefit of the doubt because last year's defense was gutted on a roster standpoint, and we've invested a little bit now, and it's some of it's kind of been paying off. And the other thing too is that we are able to run the ball normally. We are able to run the ball. And so I feel like, kind of previewing a little bit, but now that I know that we are a 7-6 team coming out of the bye, everybody get kind of fresh, hopefully get some more people back. We know that, okay, Bryce Young, when the going is tough in the clutch, even back when he was at Bama, he showed it too. He can find a way to get us down the field, and he could be able to get us in a situation where we can win, especially with Ryan Fitzgerald being as good as he is, which is being, like I said, I think he's like at 88% right now. He's like really high field goal kicker. So Bryce Young in those kind of moments has stepped up. We know we're able to run the ball with our offensive line that's been amazing. Even then, when we had some people be out, we had Robert Hunt be out, we had our center being out. We had Taylor Moton go down for a little bit, and we had Josh Nami come in. Like we've had a little bit of like a mix up on the offensive line, especially in the interior, and they still played well. And that's one, that's coaching. Two, that's the players really buying into the system, and that's the thing that I can know that I can depend on. So if we're looking at it as being a potential playoff team, sure, the pass rush not help, but the fact is that we can usually, besides the 49ers game, it's been a little bit outlier, can capitalize on mistakes. When you capitalize on mistakes, you control the game through the run, play action pass off of the run. Taylor McMillan's has been amazing for us this year. Probably going to be a Pro Bowler as a rookie. Probably is going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year. And the fact is that is our game. It's basically just running the ball down your throat. That's huge in the playoffs, and having turnovers on defense because we can't really get to the quarterback. Do I think that we'll have a deep playoff run? No. You always would hope for it, but that's me a little bit more previewing. But I am really proud of this team. It's been a while since we had meaningful December and then also January football. So these upcoming games, Saints, Bucs, Seahawks, Bucs again, is really going to determine, are we going to go to the playoffs for the first time since 2017? Not only that, but are we going to win the division for the first time since 2015? It's been a while. It's been a very long time, and I don't I don't think it's quite set in how overjoyed I'm going to be if it happens. I want to say when. I want to say when, but I want to let it sink in. I don't want to be overconfident. I want to take it all in if it happens. Obviously, tonight's game is going to be super, super important. If the Falcons are able to beat the Bucs, that's going to be huge for us. If they don't, it'll just be where it is, and we have to sweep the Bucs. That's pretty much how it has to be for us, unfortunately. Or hope the Bucs trip up along the way. Probably not going to happen though. But yeah, so like this is the video, kind of reviewing the past crazy couple of weeks that the Panthers have been playing, and yeah, it's been a great season, and I hope it continue to be a great season, and it's a stepping stone for us in the right direction. And it's been a while since the Panthers have been competitive, um, and I'm just hoping we get back to that. And I think we will. I'm really overjoyed with how this season's been going. I'm overjoyed by the fact like how our players have been progressing and getting the recognition that they desperately deserve. And I know I don't live anywhere near Charlotte, but when the Panthers are good, things are good in Charlotte as well. It happened during Cam, happened in the early 2000s as well, and I'm hoping that it happens again. So thank you so much for watching. Obviously, like I said, I'll do a end of season review after these next 4 weeks, and hopefully we're preparing for the playoffs. But who knows? But just let me know what you think about the Paper season so far, or maybe even your own team season. I always enjoy seeing what y'all say in the comments. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.